Hey guys, it's Donna, Green Earth Travel. A long time no see. I'm going to share this on Twitter, and I hope you guys can share it as well. Let's put it on this account here. You can travel. Great. Okay. How are you? Hey Riza, how are you? So I guess you guys know why I'm going to actually turn this around here, but I thought you'd get a little shot of my my website there. Let me just turn this around. Good. Making lasagna, vegan lasagna. You can come over to my house anytime. Let me turn this around, and I'm gonna make this. So sorry for the messed up hair. So I want to talk to you briefly about a couple things. And one of the things I want to talk about, obviously, is what happened last night and all the tourists that were there. And I just want to send out, thank you, Riza, for sharing this. And thank you for all the replay watchers. It seems like it's a daily thing now where there's a shooting, there's a bombing, there's this, that. And, I can't tell you enough that you guys need to, a friend of mine is upset with me because I'm going to Paris in the fall, and basically what I said to her was, if we stop traveling and doing the things that we want, these crazy guys win, and they're crazy guys. And I think that this particular guy, without really knowing much, was a crazy loner. But that's another discussion. So with that said, I want to talk to you about what would happen if something crazy like that happens, or horrible happens like that to you, but and more broad spectrum of what could happen. And the top, I don't know. Yeah, we can't stop living from our lives, and I live in Washington D.C., so I don't know why my friend was thinking that I would be less safe in France than I would here, but that's another story. So the top things that I came up with were getting sick, weather related, getting lost, lost luggage, missed flight, getting robbed, hi Nufa, and sunburn. I don't know why sunburn was on there. I'm going to take that one off. And also losing any real tickets, because there are some tickets that are still out there, like train tickets. And one thing that, and the last thing is losing your passport. And I will tell you, I just had, hi Ken, how are you? I just had the nicest family go on vacation this summer. They just got back yesterday. And everything from mistakes that happened with the tour operator to and not having no, I'm not on vacation. I am at home. I send people on vacation. So, hello mature? I don't know what that means. If you're calling me mature, then I don't know. Anyway, so this is what happened to them. We didn't have an extra night hotel. We actually didn't, and I don't know if that was my mistake or somebody else's mistake, but so we had to add on an extra night hotel. It was a week before their trip. They get to their vacation, and that actually worked out well. And things happen. Travel agents do make mistakes, so do tour operators, so do clients. And they didn't look over their documents. They had their documents for a while. They had their invoice for 6 months, and they didn't look at it. So it's a series of things. But so they get to what was the destination? It was a couple destinations. I'm not going to go into what destination it was. So they get to their main the beginning of the tour, which was they were staying in a big city prior to the tour, and they had a great time, and then they took the train down. Okay, you're getting blocked. So there. Thank you. I can't believe some people. Anyway, so they get down to the main tour, and They have a great time, except for when they first got down there, they realized that their passports were lost. And so we were totally freaked out about that. And so, especially me as the travel agent, because I'm like everyone's mother. Yeah. So they go and make the police report. The police report tells them, oh, you're going to need to go to the consulate up in this other city, which is like several hours away from them. And they had a whole extended itinerary. To make a long story short, a few days later, they go to the consulate, which is what you're supposed to do when you lose your passport. You need to go to the consulate immediately. You need to make a police report immediately. And they had their passports ready within like the hour, maybe 2 hours. So they continue on their trip, and one of their tickets, they're going on a train, and it's in Europe, and one of their tickets are missing, their train ticket. It was not a paper ticket. It was a ticket that they were supposed to download and take with them, and I don't know what happened with that, if it was the tour operator that it was the mistake. But so what they did, and this is a good thing, when you do a package tour with a tour operator, they will typically have an emergency contact for you. I'm actually your backup emergency, if in case you can't, as a travel agent, I am your backup. And this is a learning yes, it is a learning opportunity. So so they called the emergency, because when you book a package, and this is what I like about booking packages versus doing all your stuff on your own, they have an emergency contact that's usually open like 6 days a week, where you can contact them, and if you're having a problem, they'll be able to help you out. And so they were allowed on the train, but the ticket guy, the ticket master, excuse me, the ticket guy said that they need to get their tickets. So they went to the tour operator emergency contact, and were able to download. They were able to, the contact people were able to download the ticket for them, so they were able to get their ticket back. So then they continue on their trip. They're still having a good time. This is the amazing part. I thought that they were going to come back and yell at me, but they didn't. And the last train that they took was the wrong train. They took the wrong train. So they had to buy, okay, royalty, you're being blocked. All right, so I won't tolerate stuff. If you come on here and you say crappy stuff, or you speak another language, I will not tolerate it. So just remember that you're going to get blocked real quickly. So hello Belgium, how are you? So they had to buy first class tickets to their next place. We also had to call the transfer company. And this is on a Saturday morning for me to do this. This is the perk of using a travel agent versus doing it on your own. I was able to get in touch with with my tour operator, and they were able to get in touch with the transfer company, and it all worked out. And then the rest of the trip, they had another day and they were fine. So these are some of the things that can happen. But so some of the other, okay. We're getting a lot of these guys today, aren't we? Okay. And take your pants off. I'm assuming that you're going to be blocked too. Okay, I got it. I'll be with you in about 10 minutes. So, the other things that could happen are natural disasters. Like a few years ago, yeah, the trolls are out today. Natural disasters about 5 years ago. Do you guys remember the Iceland, the Iceland volcano incident? Well, I do, because I was up in Cleveland, Ohio on vacation, trying to answer some of the emergency calls from people that were in Ireland or getting ready to go to Ireland, and they were stuck in, and because all of Europe had shut down. So what do you do in case of a natural disaster? The only thing is to remain calm and patient. I mean, there's nothing that you can do. Be aware that nothing will be working correctly, and you're not the only one who's affected. And a lot of people act as though it's all about them and it's all about their, them having to get home. And you cannot panic and you cannot complain. You have to be as patient as possible. So when these people were stuck in Ireland, and because of the Iceland volcano, the only thing I could do is talk to the hotel and make sure that the hotel can accommodate them, and they did. Again, if you're not speaking English or if you're speaking dirty, you're going to be blocked. So just remember that when you come on here. This is an English-speaking Periscope. So make sure that you get your word out to your family and friends at home. So one thing you need to do is, and it's a really great way to do it, is to go onto Facebook, and there's a way that you can go onto Facebook and say that you're safe. You can just post that and say that you're safe. It's also really important that you guys get travel insurance for almost all of these things. Not everything is going to be covered, but you really need to get to your insurance company and let them know what's going on. You also need to know what your airline policy is in regards to natural disaster. That's really helpful. From my understanding, the international airlines are a little bit better about these things than the U.S. airlines. But things change on a daily basis, so you really need to check with the airlines. So like natural disasters, there's not much one can do to avoid, this is now going to political unrest. And you all know what happened yesterday. And it's going to be hell on earth with the travel industry and the just in general. I've got somebody who's going to Nice in a couple of weeks, and she plans on going anyway, no matter what. But yeah, it's supposed to be very nice there. She's one of these people. She has been on a cruise ship that had a fire on it. She was in Egypt, and the day after she left, they were bombed. She went to Lebanon, and then the day after it was bombed, and she had a lot of mishaps or near mishaps. Yes, but it's okay. Damn. They're out today, aren't they, Riza? No, she's not. She actually works for an animal welfare organization. So you've got to have insurance. You have to. In fact, she just bought insurance 2 days ago. And I am so glad she did. We were laughing about it. So not laughing in that way of laughing about things, but laughing about the fact that she got insurance, and hopefully she'll be covered if anything happens that she can't go or the trip or cruise is canceled. So you need to do your research in times of unrest. You've got to look for the State Department for, but that's okay. State Department site for warnings. While it's always good to at least peruse their warnings, keep in mind they're usually overly cautious. And dang, there's a lot out today. And while it's always good to peruse their warnings, keep in mind they're usually overly cautious. I mean, things can happen anywhere. You won't be able to travel anywhere. I remember years ago we looked at all the travel warnings and we couldn't travel anywhere, and this is 20 years ago. So also check for blogs and social media for people who are actually there. Would you rather believe someone who's at the scene of the crime or politicians in Washington? Enough said. Use some common sense. I'm using this from an article, some of this stuff. Some of it's mine. Just use some common sense. If you planned a trip and political unrest erupts out of nowhere, use common sense whether or not to cancel the trip. This was not political unrest, but what was the virus that was the Ebola virus last year? I had some clients that were going to Italy, and the Ebola was, no, not the Zika, it was the Ebola. The Ebola, the one that was in Senegal, and they, even though the disease was in one country halfway across the world and they were going to Italy, they actually canceled their trip because we didn't know at the time if it was airborne or whatever. So they just freaked out and they canceled their trip and they lost thousands of dollars because the insurance will not cover something like that. So be careful when you're canceling your trip. If you get caught up in political unrest, don't get involved. You don't know what that, the jails are like, the system's like over there. So just be really careful. And pack any documents on your, okay, so the best way, okay, so now we're going to talk about losing luggage, which probably most of us have lost luggage at some point or another. I know I have. In fact, I have a story to tell you, which the insurance, again, this is another reason to get insurance. Hubby and I go to Costa Rica and are flying to Costa Rica. I got to keep track of time here. I'm actually going to have to cut this short and maybe do a part 2, but hubby and I are flying to go to Costa Rica. We're scheduled to go on a rafting trip the day after we get there, and so our luggage gets lost on the way to Costa Rica. I was smart enough to pack a couple of pairs of undies and a bathing suit on my carry-on. So we get there and the luggage never arrives that night. And we go to a store and we buy a couple t-shirts. In the meantime, because I was traveling as a travel agent and it was somewhat of a travel agent trip, I had only nice clothes on. So I had to go rafting with my nice clothes on and this weird t-shirt, and it ended up being fine. The insurance covered for everything, all the lost luggage. We got our luggage like 2 days later, so it all worked, but it happens all the time. So, but make sure that you pack all your important documents with you. Don't pack it with you, not in your luggage. I had some, and same thing if you have real tickets or passports, you have to pack it with you. Anything of value, pack it with you. Don't pack it in your luggage. If it goes on your luggage and your luggage is lost, you're screwed. So just remember to do that. And remember to make a copy of your passport and put it in a different location. It's really important that you do that. So again, what to do in case of lost luggage? Yes, but people tend to pack things because they want more room in their carry-on, and they shouldn't. Remain as calm as possible despite wanting to clobber someone over the head. Oh, I like that. Don't leave the airport. Go to the airline counter. Yeah, that's the first thing you need to do is go to the airline counter and submit a report and file a claim immediately. Be persistent. Don't be rude because, when you're doing this, it's not going to get you anywhere. And try and recoup your fees. Sometimes the airlines will recoup it. Not all airlines do. But again, this is another reason to get insurance. Missing your flight. Actually, yeah. Let's just do that. Well, you know what? I'm going to leave this for part 2. And I will do this later today if I have some time, because I'm actually going to meet lunch with some friends of mine. But these are some of the things I want you guys to think about. If you have any questions, you can send me a message at Vegan Travel on Twitter, or you can go on my Facebook page at Green Earth Travel, or you can email me at info@greenearthtravel. And, you know, if you have any questions about some other issues for part 2, which I'll try and do tonight, you know, go ahead and ask me. And I will see you guys later today. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Riza. Bye.